hottest neighborhoods in the Medicine Hat real estate market in 2025. What's up, guys? My name's Ryan with eXp Realty, serving Medicine Hat and the surrounding area. And the narrative out there is that prices are increasing in Medicine Hat, which is very, very true, as I've shared in some of my previous content. I wanted to dive a little bit deeper today on what neighborhoods specifically have appreciated the most, and what does that tell us moving forward into the end of this year, and in my opinion for the next couple years, what is going to be happening in the Medicine Hat real estate market. Now, I went through my system and looked at detached homes specifically by neighborhood, and I made a spreadsheet that I'm going to share with you here that shows all the different neighborhoods. And yes, I had to group some of them together, and please take some of this statistics with a grain of salt, because this is average sale price of a detached home. Now, some neighborhoods in Medicine Hat don't have the amount of transaction volume that I would like to see to really gather this information, but I hope that this gives you an idea of what neighborhoods have appreciated more than others. When I'm working with folks, especially when it comes to selling their house, they'll have some preconceived narrative of what values have done. And more times than not, they think their property has appreciated way, way too much as opposed to what the information I'm bringing them. Where yes, absolutely, their house has went up significantly in value, but depending on what statistics you are looking at, you may get different ideas of value. So I wanted to generalize specifically by neighborhood, and one of these neighborhoods, hopefully that you live in, gives you an idea of how much your house has went up in value, so long as you've maintained it properly and you've kept it up in good order. Now, there's some very, very, I would say, surprising neighborhoods here that stand out to me. And if you want just to pause the video to look at this more specifically, please do so. But one of the neighborhoods that stands out to me the most right now is Southeast Southwest Southridge. It's went up a ton. Like, I think of an average home in Southridge, like a 2-story family home. Gosh, it's went up over $100,000 in the last 4 to 5 years. Same with places like Ranchlands, same story there. Terrace has went up a ton. Little caveat here, just because Terrace is a smaller area, so maybe some higher level homes have sold this year that skews that number up a little bit. But same with Parkview, has seen fairly consistent appreciation. Now, some neighborhoods that haven't went up as much, right off the bat, Southeast Southwest Hill jumps to mind. So my next question in my brain is, well, why? What's happening? How does this affect your house's value? And how does this matter to you? When I look at this chart and I look at these numbers, what it's telling me is that those solid family homes between 5 years old and 20 years old, those have appreciated more than the median appreciation in Medicine Hat. That's why I don't like to just group, oh, the average sale price in Medicine Hat has went up X percentage. That's just a blanket number we can apply to every single house. Every single house is different. Okay, that's why when you go to sell your house, you need to at least have an agent that shows you all the information and doesn't pick a number from the sky and tell you that's what it's worth. There needs to be sufficient material or evidence to support that price. I would argue that if you have a family home right now, or you have a solid bungalow in Crescent Heights, it's went up significantly more than a character home, for example, or a house that is 80 or 90 years old on the hill. I'm sorry, your house just hasn't appreciated. Yes, it's went up in value, no question, but don't just pluck a statistic that's general for the whole city of Medicine Hat and apply it to your house. We've also seen quite a big uptick in Redcliffe, and yeah, I'm biased with Redcliffe. I love Redcliffe, I live in Redcliffe, but the average home that I think of in Redcliffe is selling for way more than what I think all the time. And if you look at the statistics, an average house was right around $260 back in 2021, and now the average is $364. I think this is a bit high just because some higher level homes have sold in Redcliffe, but even last year it was around $320. So that neighborhood, that town has seen significant appreciation. Now, I'd be missing a huge point in this video if I didn't mention Desert Bloom. Desert Bloom, the values in Desert Bloom, in my mind, at least from what I've seen in the transactions I've done out there, have went up significantly in the last year, and we certainly see this in 2025. This number is a bit skewed here in the bottom right because some some of the nicest houses in Medicine Hat have sold out there this year. But there has been significant appreciation, even if you take out a couple $2 million or $3 million home that have sold. still the prices in Desert Bloom have been going up. So this is telling me that people are upsizing right now. People are looking for that higher end family home, maybe their second move where they've lived in a house and they want to upsize into, quote, their forever home. Those have appreciated more than, say, a first-time buyer's home in that low to mid $200,000 price range. So hopefully this gives you some context based off of the neighborhood that you currently live in. I call it kind of a litmus test. Hey, take this chart for what you will. It's going to give you an idea. Has your house appreciated a couple percent in the last year, or has it increased 10, 15% over the last 3 or 4 years? So I want to do some more videos where we dive deep into the statistics a little bit more, because I think for you, the consumer, that's going to help get you an idea of what your house is doing in terms of value. And I'll finish with this, guys. I do think a lot of homeowners out there are sitting on more equity than what they think. Now, that equity can be used elsewhere if you would like, but more times than not, a house is the most significant or expensive asset that you will own. I would say in about 85 to 90% of the cases. And I would think that you owe it to yourself to at least generally know what that property is worth. At least that's some information. You can either use it to get that equity out, maybe go buy a rental property, or maybe it's just good for you to know. So hopefully this gives you some context. If you guys have any questions at all, please reach out 403-548-0813 to help any way I can. Take good care.